Hi, I'm Marlow Felton.
I'm Chris Felton.
Thanks for joining us. We're here today to talk to you about changing your habits and changing your life. We know very well, don't we, about how to change habits. We had some really bad habits, and they were huge financial leaks, seemingly small financial leaks, but they definitely snowballed. And we learned how changing your habits can change your life. So basically, your habits come from your subconscious mind, and we are programmed with these habits, and that in turn causes our actions or our habits to run us, and that determines our results. So if you don't like your results, then let's talk about changing some habits. So what were some habits? You've got this. Sorry, as I fix my. It's a little
appropriate.
It's very appropriate.
Well, they can't see that.
They can't see it, so.
I don't have pants on either.
Neither do I.
See,
no, I'm just kidding. They're all like, ooh.
Oh, wait, we're not going to be able to upload this probably. Facebook's going to say.
I think they'll be fine with it.
No pants, no video.
No, we do have pants on. Not appropriate pants, but yeah.
I like my pants.
Okay.
They're good. So what are we talking about?
All right, so habits. So some habits that we changed that were small, but because people think that to change your life, there has to be a dramatic event. You have to win the lottery. I mean, we didn't win the lottery. We didn't have like some windfall of some big event. It was just little things over time. And, it's why habits are so powerful, and even the small ones.
Yeah, my favorite quote is the guy that, dies of a heart attack. It's not because of the last cheeseburger he ate, right? It's that compounding over time. And I mean, this is a super broad topic, but our mentors always taught us, you got the symptom to the problem, and then you got the root to it. And most people spend a lot of time in health, relationships, money, like dealing with the symptom and putting the Band-Aid on it. And my Band-Aid was, I got debt. I mean, I can just, go to a line of credit or go to a credit card or, before I met you, I mean, right, I had bad financial habits and I had bad financial stories. And so basically I was just, okay, I'll just get to it one day. And I think with a lot of this stuff is it's not really hard. It's just easier not to, right? It's a lack of focus. It's a lack of awareness. I don't think success in and of itself is hard financially or in business. It's just the repetition of these habits. And I think the famous marshmallow test. The marshmallow test. The little kids.
Oh yeah, they tell them not to eat the marshmallow.
So Google marshmallow test, and it was, I don't know how many kids there was, 10 or 500, I don't know what it was, but it was bunch of kids, and they put a marshmallow, they put a marshmallow in front of them, of these kids, and they said, if you don't eat it, when we come back in 20 minutes, we'll give you a second one, and then you can have two, but if you do, you're kind of screwed. Anyway, so...
I'd eat it.
I don't know how many...
I have a sweet tooth, I'm like,
if it was a chocolate chip cookie...
I would totally eat it.
So anyway, so these kids, so they studied and followed these kids, I think, for like the next 30 years or whatever. I mean, Google it for the specifics. But the kids that did not eat the marshmallow and had delayed gratification muscles, like the amount of success and wealth that they accumulated and all that. And so, for us, if you really don't know where you're going, then you don't know if you really need to have a good habit, right?
Right.
So it was about getting clear and then just understanding that, every small thing I do is either going to screw up this vision that I'm emotionally engaged in, or we're going to get closer.
Right.
So
if you're just joining us, I'm Marlow Felton. This is my sidekick, Chris Felton. He hates that. I love the look on his face when I say that. Anyway, we're talking about changing your habits.
Coffee?
Chris is drinking coffee.
I made this, so I didn't buy it.
It really, of course, he is really drinking coffee.
Is this bulletproof coffee?
It is bulletproof.
Bulletproof coffee.
It's awesome.
They're not paying us anything.
No, they're not, but I love their stuff.
Bulletproof.
It's amazing. Anyway, So we're talking about changing your habits, changing your life, and how big changes come from small things over time. So basically, our subconscious is programmed with these habits that determine our actions, and then our actions determine our results. And when Chris and I had a dramatic financial transformation, it wasn't from, a big windfall or nothing, no big major event. It was us getting really clear on where we were going and measuring every step of the way, because we knew that every financial decision that we made was taking us closer to our goals and dreams or further away. Every dime. And that's why it was so important that we celebrated any and all income that came into our life, because we knew if it was $100 more we saved that week, it was $100 closer to our goals and dreams. And I call it a financial GPS. And so just know that any step in the right direction is a good thing and something to be aware of. And, changing even a small habit over time can have just some phenomenal results. And one of the habits that I changed was my Starbucks habit. So I had a horrible Starbucks habit, and we've talked about this before. If you follow us closely,
I like coffee.
He really likes coffee. It's kind of crazy.
A little too much.
So we do like coffee, and I was going into Starbucks and buying the big latte and then getting the pastry on the side and all that. And what I did is I created a new habit, and I decided that I was going to delay the gratification. So Chris was talking earlier about delaying the gratification for something that's really not adding any value to your life, and redirecting that. So basically, I took the $7, $8, $9, $10 or whatever. Was it $7? I think it was like $7.
It was a lot.
Yeah, it was more than I really needed to be spending, like 3 times a week at least.
3 times a day.
Not 3 times a day. And, redirecting those dollars, because those dollars, that every time I spent that $7, it was taking me $7 away, and then that was continuing to compound in the wrong direction. And that's what I want everyone to realize, is that it's just not the $7 today, it's what is that $7 going to mean in the future. And so I created a new habit, and to this day, when I go into Starbucks, and sorry Starbucks, you have amazing coffee, amazing system.
Not as good as bulletproof coffee.
Amazing atmosphere. Not as good as the bulletproof coffee, for sure.
This for sure is not going to get uploaded.
No.
Because we just irritated Starbucks.
We irritated Starbucks. But to this day, when I go into Starbucks, I just get a regular coffee, because that's really all that I need. And I created a new habit. I could certainly afford to buy the big latte and spend $10 and get a pastry and all that, but I just don't. I created a new habit, and the ripple effects of that. We did the numbers. What was it?
It was too much.
Over 20 years, it was like $30,000 or something like that.
There's all sorts of calculators online. There's a website called dinkytown.com, DINKY town.com. Have no idea why it's called that, because I guess you can never forget dinkytown.com.
I don't know, but they have all kinds of calculators.
Every financial calculator on the planet's out there, and so you go on there, and whatever your habit, mine was Quiznos, hers was Starbucks, and I spoke to a group of a bunch of oil and gas guys on Wednesday, and we covered this whole thing about, there's what to do, and then, what you actually do, and it's all about closing the gap on what you should be doing and what you're actually doing. And, we walked through this. I mean, there wasn't really anybody that wasn't blowing $5 to $10 a day, and then you throw in the weekends. That's usually a lot more money. It's 3, 4, 5. I haven't been in front of a group where somebody in that room was not blowing 300, 400, 500, whether it's a teacher that doesn't have any money or whatever. But what changed me was just, finding one of these calculators and just going, oh man, if I just kind of didn't do that, and what's the compounding of that? And, it's over 15, 20, 30 years, it's
crazy,
astronomical. And until you whatever challenge you got, these habits, if you don't connect it to either pleasure or pain, you're not going to change, right? Because you're in a comfort zone and you're not aware of the prices of what that is costing you. And for me, doing that calculation of 10, 15 bucks a day or whatever over 20, 30 years, I was just like, oh my God, dude, like, come on, like, man, that's a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So
right,
that was too much. So that woke me up. That woke me up out of my hypnotic trance.
Yeah. So if you're just joining us, I'm Marlow Felton. This is my sidekick, Chris. And actually, Chris, my sidekick, is really smart. And he shared a story, and I had forgotten about this study, the marshmallow story of this study where they put a marshmallow in front of all these different kids. They separated them, and they put a marshmallow in front of them, and they said they were going to leave the room for 20 minutes, and if they didn't eat the marshmallow, by the time they came back, they'd give them 2. So they'd have 2 instead of 1 if they just waited 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. So they learned that the kids that had the good habit or the ability to delay the gratification because they knew that there was more in store for them were more successful in life, which is crazy. And often I talk about delaying gratification when it comes to your budget, and maybe you want to go on that vacation but you really don't have enough money saved, so maybe it's next year's vacation and not this year's vacation because it doesn't make financial sense. And when I was talking about that, I said a delay is not a denial, and so that's a way to look at it so you don't feel like you're depriving yourself, because you're going to have more success if you really see the reward that's coming to you and know that it's coming to you. And so I would delay quite a few things, quite a few purchases, because it wasn't time yet. And I knew that if I put it off, then I was going to be able to save more money. And I told myself, well, I will have that one day. And I knew a delay was not a denial. I was just doing it for our financial health, and that made a huge difference. And it, look up that study. I had forgotten about it, and it's incredibly powerful what they found with the delaying gratification. And the other thing that I'd like for you to know is that when you do change a small habit, you're not going to see huge results overnight. So don't get discouraged. Just know that you're on your way and that you have changed the habit, and that things are coming your way and good things are coming your way. And just know it's going to take time, because it probably took us maybe 2 years for us to really see any significant change in our financial situation. But I'll tell you, it was worth the wait. And then from there, it just compounded. I use the example of an ocean liner turning around. When the ocean liner first starts to turn around, if you're on a huge cruise ship, you don't notice that the boat's even moving. And it's not until it starts to, it takes a while and it starts to really, almost be turning before you really even realize, oh, hey, we've turned. And then once it gets going in the right direction, then, it's the momentum is already there. Well, the same thing happens with your financial life and with a habit that you've changed. And so just know that it's going to take time. A delay is not a denial, and be patient until you see it happen, because it absolutely will. Just know you're going in the right direction. And so, I encourage you, I know Chris encourages you as well.
I encourage you.
To change a daily habit. So, you don't have to feel like you're going to go out and conquer Mount Everest overnight, but just start with a small daily habit. What daily habit do you have that you could change, that could have exponential results in your life? Maybe it's getting up 30 minutes earlier. Maybe it's not even anything in relation to money. Maybe it's getting up 30 minutes earlier so you can work out. And, improving your health is always a plus in your life, and doing something like that, spending time studying or doing something towards your business for extra 30 minutes because you got up 30 minutes earlier, things like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be the latte or the happy hour or anything like that, although it can.
Should.
But right, it should, not that we'll should on you.
Well, the key with all this is, you know, to increase confidence, you just keep promises to yourself. That's it. So small promises, and I mean, this stuff works. You know, if you can keep those commitments to yourself, and you know, hey, you know, I didn't spend $7. I saved it, or you know, it's just pushing a snowball down the mountain. And the problem is people, like, you know, they start on the habit, and you know, she's talking about Mount Everest, and they start looking up at Mount Everest. It's like, no, don't look there. Just the step that's in front of you. Just because I spent a lot of time with our debt and all the stuff that I'd done that was dumb, you know, looking out up at Mount Everest and going, oh my God, how? And I did a recording on Instagram, you know, called The Cursed Who's and the Cursed How's. If you go follow us over there, The Cursed Who's and the Cursed How's. Like, how am I going to do it? It's just, don't even go there, man. Just kind of, you know, one of our mentors was like, you know, pick a path and just kick butt with what's in front of you, and that has served us. And the compounding of effort is significant, but a lot of people are just like, you know, they're on and they're off, and they're on and they're off, and they're in and they're out, and they just bounce back and forth, and they're like, this stuff doesn't work. And I'm like, dude, it'll work. You just got to
stay on
you
path.
just got to do it.
And stay with it until you see a change, and it could be a while.
Yeah.
But just know that it is powerful.
Then the habit's ingrained.
Right.
To the unconscious.
Right.
And that's
when it becomes so much easier.
Simple.
Yeah.
You don't have to think about it.
Right. Yeah, so if you've just joined us, we are talking about changing your habits, changing your life. Small amounts add up. It's like a GPS. I call it the financial GPS. And once you have started going in the right direction, and you know that any and all amounts of money saved or moving in that right direction are taking you closer to your goals and dreams, you can make that connection, and you can change those daily habits that are taking you further away. So I encourage everyone to find a habit, a daily habit that they have, even if it's small, that you can change, that could dramatically change your life over time. And take a look at that, and you know, hit us back. Let us know what happened. We'd love to support you in that. And also, you'll see a link on this post to access our free webinar. Yes, it's absolutely free. Our signature talk, 4 steps to a financial transformation. You can access that. We narrowed it down to 4 major keys that can help you have a financial transformation. So go ahead and click on that and access that, and we hope that you have a financial transformation as well.